Hello Internet! If you follow me on Twitter or on Facebook, you'll have probably seen I have been touring the world with a JYNX, which sounds wonderful, doesn't it really? But as you can imagine, lots of people have been interested in the JYNX. They want to know what it does, what the spread is, all the rest of it too. So in this video, I'll talk a little bit about the team, but I'll go into lots of detail with the JYNX and tell you why it's on there and look at the spread and all the rest of it too. But yeah, I mean, the last few weeks have been absolutely crazy. If you saw my last video, I was basically saying that, just to put it in a nutshell, basically this is possibly going to be the last year that I go for a day to invite. I won't take the whole thing so seriously in the future. So lots of tournaments, basically. I was very stressed trying to make a team for these tournaments, seeing as there's lots of traveling. There was no time really in between to make different teams or breed them, especially, and all the rest of it too. So a few days before the London tournaments, a couple of weekends ago, I came up with I came to this team basically, as you can see on the screen now. This is the 6 that I used. I'll just talk a little tiny bit about the team. This isn't going to be like a proper team report or anything. I just want to who knows, maybe I'll use parts of this team in the future, but this is mainly about the JYNX. But basically, as you can see on the top row, that is the team that I used, these lot. That's the team that I used in the online international challenge and like a premier challenge or two as well, back here in the UK a few months ago. Basically, at the very beginning of the year, like beginning of January, I was talking to a couple of my friends and I was thinking, I like a zoom roll. I want to make a zoom roll work. This is, way before, it became known in the VGC 18 format. And so I put this team together, and, it's basically a mix of things that I like and trying to get a zoom roll working. As you can see, there's no ground resists on the team, which is pretty terrible in, format with Landers everywhere. So the team obviously wasn't very good, but, there's some Pokemon together that I liked using. But, going forward with it, I wanted to make it a bit better. I knew that Tapu Koko wasn't the way, especially with Amoonguss there, because so much conflict going on with that. So I knew Tapu Bulu was going to be the Tapu Pokemon that I wanted. Obviously, I wanted either Bulu or Koko, because I want to get rid of Psychic Terrain. Tapu Fini is just completely redundant typing with Azumarill on the same team as well. So definitely wanted Bulu, especially because that reduces Earthquake damage as well. So straight away, keeping Tyranitar, Volcarona, and Azumarill, those are the 3 that I like. Those are the 3 that I was building the team around. Tapu Bulu works very nicely, reducing Earthquake damage, etc. as well. But Amoonguss worked really well on the team up here, and him on top was quite good as well. Spores were quite nice, but the main reason I had Amoonguss was obviously redirection, so I could Rage Powder and Belly Drum, or Rage Powder and Quiver Dance, or Rage Powder and Dragon Dance. So I needed some kind of redirection, and at this point I needed some kind of rock resists as well, because I was going to be changing him on top too. So Lucario fit really nicely into that slot, really nicely for a number of reasons. It is a rock resist, it is some nice fighting coverage as well, so I can threaten things like Tyranitar and Stack Attacker and things like that as well. But more importantly, it's got Follow Me and not Rage Powder, so I can actually redirect Tapu Bulu's attacks, I can redirect Katana's attacks, and set up as well. So I really like that. I really like this Lucario actually, and I used Follow Me on it with a Focus Sash. So I can just go basically attack, pretty much attack and speed, and still be quite offensive, and still take at least 2 hits generally. So that worked very nicely. But I wanted something else, to replace the hit on top slot that gave me some kind of support, fake out support, and I needed something that was good against the Salamence and Landorus as well, because this team on the top did actually struggle with Salamence too. The Koko was probably the biggest thing to hit the Salamence with. So ice types, yeah, that kind of works nicely. But what's ice and gets fake out and can support in some different ways. Weavile does, but if you're playing against a Scarf Landorus, then it'll Rock Slide or Super Power or whatever, and obviously Weavile's not going to appreciate that. So I was thinking about this kind of JYNX for a while, and I didn't test it for ages until this, until the planets aligned, and I thought, okay, it could actually work here. So I put JYNX on the team, and this is the JYNX I used. Here we go. So you can see I'm using an Adrenaline Orb, which is not an item that you really see much at all in VGC, really. I don't know if it's used in singles much, I doubt it. It's not really an item that you see much at all, but with so much Intimidate going around, Adrenaline Orb I thought was actually pretty nifty, especially because I wanted it for Salamence, which obviously has Intimidate normally, and for Landorus as well, which also has Intimidate. If the Adrenaline Orb is activated, I will always outspeed, unless it's like a Scarf Salamence, something silly like that. It'll outspeed any kind of Landorus, even Jolly, Landorus, Scarf, I will outspeed. Any Mega Salamence, it will outspeed, and it will be able to one-shot, because Ice Beam is fairly common in the format, I suppose, but Stab Ice Beam is not. Ice Beam coming from an Ice type is not. So, basically, Assault Vest Landorus, bulky Mega Salamence, Ice Beam will always one-shot. So, that's something that I really liked. JYNX does learn Fake Out as well, which obviously I did want to fill in that Hitmontop slot too, so that I could, Fake Out and set up and, just disrupt in general. Fake Out's a fantastic move. On something so frail, I did want Protect on this JYNX. It really can't take too many attacks. It can't really take any attacks on the physical side, really. So Protect was a good move to have. I did consider, maybe Psychic, although it is kind of redundant on this. I did consider Helping Hand as well, because I did have Helping Hand on that Hitmontop originally, which did work very nice. But I think Protect was absolutely necessary on this JYNX, especially after playing through the tournaments. Protect was very, very handy with it. And I went with Skill Swap as my last move, which, the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Looking back at the team, I've got a team that's basically built around Azumarill, Volcarona, and Tyranitar. Two of these are weak to water. JYNX has got Dry Skin as its ability, which, I'm sure makes it immune to water attacks, means that you heal up like a third of your health if you get hit by a water attack. With Skill Swap, I can Skill Swap Dry Skin onto, anything really. I can Skill Swap it onto Tyranitar, onto Volcarona. If I Skill Swap it onto a Volcarona, basically I can sit in front of things like Tapu Fini and not take any damage at all, maybe from like a Moonblast, that's about it really. I could also reset my Grassy Terrain from the Bulu. I can reset my Sandstorm with, the Tyranitar. I can, do all kinds of things with Skill Swap. I can I can take Flash Fires off E-Trans if you watch the stream from Sweden. It's such a useful move, Skill Swap, Skill Swap their Intimidate, intimidate them. It can do so many things. So I liked the theory of Skill Swap. I didn't know if it would work in practice, but the more I used it, the more uses I found for it, basically. So I think it worked quite well. IVs, you can see all of the IVs are 31, as you would expect, apart from I've got an attack IV of 27, which looks a little bit strange, doesn't it? But that means I get the most amount of damage from Fake Out, while also being able to take one stab foul play. So something like a Persian, without black glasses, I can take one foul play, basically. So that was a nifty little IV there. Timid obviously makes sure that I can outspeed Jolly Scarf Landorus's with the Adrenaline Orb. And the spread is, max speed, because I might as well. And the rest of it, I've got a little bit of bulk in there. 20 HP, 52 special defense, 4 defense, not to waste EVs. Basically, the special bulk is to take an Electric Terrain boosted, Life Orb boosted Thunderbolt from Tapu Koko. So it survives that. And the rest of it is basically dumped into special attack. That'll always one-shot Assault Vested Landorus and bulky Mega Salamence. It's always going to be, like a 2-hit KO on a Moongus and stuff like that too. So, it does what it's supposed to do. On the physical side, it can't really take many attacks. I think it takes about a maximum of like 75% from Mega Kangaskhan Fake Out. It takes about a maximum of 90%, I think, from an Adamant Linoon Extreme Speed. But that's about the extent of of physical attacks that JYNX can survive, really. As you can see, it looks, it's quite an interesting thing, and I think it worked quite nicely with the rest of the team. As you can see, there's so many things that I can, there we go, so many things that I can skill swap, so many things that Dry Skin I could benefit from. and I don't know, I liked it. I played some games with it, and actually the tournaments went quite well. The two mid-season showdowns in London, I came top 4. No, I didn't. I came top 8 in one of them, and I came second in another one. In the Australian International Championship, I actually got a lot of bad luck in that tournament. That was a pretty terrible tournament, but I still finished top 64. And I got championship points from that, which I was over the moon with how bad the day went. And in Malmo in Sweden, I actually came third in that tournament. I came to an unfortunate end. Tyranitar decided not to hit his rock slide when he needed to in the in the top 4 set, but I can't really complain about that because JYNX did a lot of business for me. In day 1, I did get a little bit lucky. You know, I actually got some fortune in the day 1, so I can't complain at all. But without further ado, I'm just going to show you this video, aren't I? So, where is it? Here it is. Okay, so let's talk through this. The animations are off, yeah, I'm sure you can see what's happening. So this is actually a game from the second mid-season showdown in London, and this is actually game 3 of the set. So just to give you a little bit of context, I won game 1, I'm pretty sure. He won game 2. He won game 2 by he's got Celesteela in the back and he's got Tapu Fini in the back. He's actually got Rain Dance on his Tapu Fini, and the only thing I've really got to hit his Celesteela is my Volcarona. He won the second game by getting Rain Dance up and basically making his Celesteela wall the rest of my team. So, you know, Rain Dance worked out really nicely for him. And I'm pretty sure I'd led JYNX in all of the games as well. I think in the first game I made like a call or something, and I actually didn't Ice Beam the Landorus. I didn't fake out the Landorus, I just sort of left it alone, and he switched it out, fearing an attack. So this is the game 3 now. He activates my Adrenaline Orb there, as you can see, so I'm at +1 speed with JYNX now. And because I didn't attack his Landorus in any of the other games with my JYNX turn 1, as maybe you can imagine what I'm going to do, as we see the Manectric Mega Evolve, I just decide to attack the Landorus. I'm not going to try and be cheeky anymore. I just want to make sure I knock it out, basically. Make sure it doesn't do anything. I protect my Azumarill too, because I expect a Volt Switch. Like, he kind of has to target the Azumarill with his Manectric. Else I'll just get a Belly Drum, basically. The Mind Games, he does actually stay in with his Landorus there. Lets me knock it out with an Ice Beam, and he Volt Switches into my Protect there. So, perfect turn 1. JYNX already doing some business there, knocking out a Landorus with 1 hit. He brings in his Tapu Fini, and at this point I'm thinking, well, okay, Volcarona, if it's immune to water, could be pretty good here. So I withdraw the Azumarill, put Volcarona in. Because of the Adrenaline Orb, JYNX is faster than everything, and I skill swap Dry Skin onto my Volcarona. He does actually Volt Switch into the Volcarona, and I think he Moonblasts into my Volcarona here too. So he does as much damage as he possibly can do on my Volcarona there too. Yeah, so that's a decent amount. Critical hit as well, decent amount of damage on my Volcarona. He has got a Misty Seed on his Celesteela as well, so even though I have got Inferno Overdrive on my Volcarona, a +1 special offense, I'm not very confident that I'm going to knock it out. So this next turn I'm thinking I want to get basically some chip damage onto the Celesteela. I'm protecting my Volcarona because he's got Acrobatics. I just want to get some Ice Beam chip damage onto the Celesteela. But this is a pretty crazy turn. Watch this. Ice Beam into the Celesteela. I freeze it. He uses Rain Dance with his Tapu Fini, so now I really can't touch the Celesteela. But his Celesteela actually thaws straight away. It goes for an Acrobatics into my JYNX. But because of the skill swap, JYNX has got Flame Body. and JYNX goes down, but I burned the Celesteela, so that worked out very nicely. And actually, that happened on the day 1 of the Swedish stream as well, which unfortunately hasn't been archived, so you can't watch that back. But that exact same scenario happened as well, but just without the freeze. I recover because he's Rain Danced, so Volcarona is getting its Dry Skin recovery now. I put Volcarona in too because even though the Celesteela is still burned, it obviously can't threaten Volcarona with Acrobatics. He's maybe expecting like a close combat there or something into his Celesteela, so he withdraws it, puts the Manectric back in, gets the Intimidate, but basically at this point in the game, Lucaria isn't that important for me as long as I can get some Quiver Dances up. So I can set up with Volcarona, I'm set basically, because I've got the the dry skin. So, okay, he scalds my thingy, but I'm recovering every turn because he rain danced with his type of thingy. Then you might be thinking, okay, well, maybe it was silly of him to rain dance when I'm playing around with dry skin, but he did win the second game because of his rain dance. You know, it made his Celesteela basically survive my attacks. I'm quiver dancing up here. He's snarling, so nice play there. But basically, my Volcarona is getting there. You know, I'm setting up with it, and I'm pretty sure there's nothing really he can do to win this game now. I'm using a Follow Me just to make sure he doesn't get maybe a Thunder critical hit or something, whatever he might have. Worst case scenario. Inferno Overdrive. It is in the rain, but I am boosted now, and he has lost his Misty Seed, so I'm pretty confident that knocks it out. Lucario goes down to a critical hit there too. Not sure if that mattered or not. In the grand scheme of things, it definitely doesn't matter. But Volcarona is pretty much set up here because his type of thing, he's got fairy attacks and water attacks. You know, basically, it's only got fairy attacks that it could actually hit my Volcarona with, and he's got Manectric as well in the back too, which I'm at +2 special offense isn't really going to be doing too much damage to my Volcarona here too. So basically, my Volcarona is sitting very, very comfortable here. He protects his Finny, not exactly too sure why. The Manectric's a threat here, so I just double into the Manectric. And what's he doing? Oh, it is snarling again, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, the game is pretty much over from here. So rain stops, no more dry skin recovery from the rain dance anyway. But double into the Manectric, just knock it out. I'm not heat waving, I'm not going to mess around with accuracy. And on this last turn, you'll see just one more cheeky little thing that I can do with dry skin too. Actually, Aqua Jet into my own Volcarona and heal it as well. So that's pretty much the game. You know, I've got Giga Drain. You know, he can't touch me, and he forfeits after this turn too. So the game's over. But yeah, there we go. Even bests and there's my Citrus Berry. But there we go. That's pretty much the team, and that's I recorded that video. Obviously, can't do that with capture card because that was in the tournament. But yeah, that's JYNX doing some business for you. Which I think is quite entertaining. It worked out very nicely. It's funny how, I don't know, like just to look back on how stressed I was before these 4 tournaments to make a team that I liked and worked. And who would have imagined that JYNX was going to be the answer? I think the team still does have some holes. There are still some threats to the team. So it's not the perfect thing, the team right now, but here's the JYNX. Everyone wanted to know about the JYNX. Here it is. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please like and share and all the rest of it. Not very often you see a JYNX. I think, actually, just one more thing about JYNX. Signature move, Lovely Kiss. I think a lot of people probably assumed I was using Lovely Kiss because I do tend to like sleep moves, obviously. But and Lovely Kiss is actually a sleep move that can hit grass types as well. So I could put an Amoonguss to sleep, for example, too. But it's 75% accurate, and that's really the reason that I didn't run it, basically. Like, even with wide lens, 82% accuracy is not something that you can rely on either too. So although Lovely Kiss could have worked out too, I think the set that I went with was probably the best one, especially the best one for the team that it was in. So there we go. Please, like and share, all the rest of it, and goodbye for now.